Hello and welcome to round 36 of the Team Racing 2020 Championship. Today we're at Westhill East, a custom configuration with the UF1. We've got around about 5 minutes left before the start of qualifying, and I want to welcome someone to the commentary box for the first time on a sim broadcast stream. Welcome, Travis. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you're doing here?
Hi, Pete. Thanks for having me. I'm here to call a race today. I hope we're gonna have a lot of fun. I doubt there's anybody in this list that remembers who I am, but maybe there is somebody. So I played Live for Speed way back in the day. I started in about 2008 and played until about 2010 or 2011 when life got in the way. I started doing dark side racing events and did a couple events of theirs. And then also did some of the New Dimension Racing events when I was in Live for Speed. I was most commonly associated with Something Awful Racing and Spencer Pick_D if anybody remembers him. Yeah, after a long sabbatical, I met Pete and reconnected with this crew, and here I am to talk about race cars here today.
Yeah, great to have you with us, Travis. It should be fun.
Thank you.
Let's take the audience down the championship standings, I think, right about now. That would be a good thing to do. So, in the Drivers' Championship right now, we have Jan Bukowski out in the lead, 13 points ahead of Kevin Peet. That has changed since the last round, so Jan Bukowski takes over the lead after a good outing last week. Nika Bontola maintains P3 but has dropped down the order a little bit because of a, well, not fantastic round last week. Rick Cardle in P4, Jari Katila P5. Then we've got Trespasser P6, Pekka Koivunen P7, Michael Malik, Joni Katila, and Chris McElroy rounding out the top 10. Timu Soini P11 for World Class Lions, and David Godge in P12 for Team Up Racing. And there you can see the rest of the top 24 after 35 rounds. Today we are on round 36, so we really are getting to the sharp end of the championship now where the points really do matter. Turning our attention to the team standings, we have at the top of the table, Yes Motorsport out in the lead by only 18 points over the hosts, Team Up Racing. World Class Lions are around about 500 points back, so it really is it's turning into a two-horse race, Travis, between Yes Motorsport and Team Up Racing here in the championship. Race Green Autosports P4, B2R P5, MRC P6, Road Appraiser, followed by TC Racing, Team Silas, and the Nordic Racing Team round out the top 10, with Virtual Energy Racing and Conquest Racing rounding out the top 12. And there you can see the rest of the top 24 in the team's standings. What have we got coming up for you over the next couple of weeks? Well, we are, as I mentioned, coming to the close of the championship. Today we're at Westhill East, which is a really fun configuration, which uses the often seldom used part of the track, especially if you're using WE1. Then we're over to Fern Bay once again for round 37, and only a handful of races left in the championship. So we've got 14 minutes of qualifying here today, Travis. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the intricacies of this track, but it uses the infield section of the Westhill layout and the outfield section, or the north side of the track that's used with the international configuration. So a tricky combination and a tricky car as well. The front-wheel drive, quite light and nimble UF1.
Yeah, it does look that way. I've been looking it over during the warm up while you were calling the standings, and I remember Westhill very fondly because it is a very quick circuit. This is an interesting combination of the outfield, which is pretty quick, and then a few tighter corners in the inner part. I always enjoyed driving this car because it is so quick and nimble, and it takes a little bit of care to get it around. It being one front wheel drive, heavy at the front. Prone to oversteering, requires some care on the brakes. So I'm excited. This will be fun to watch.
Yeah, it should be fabulous. I love the UF1. It's one of my favourite cars in the race, and qualifying is just about to get going, so we'll turn our attention to the track as the cars make their way onto the circuit for the beginning of the session.
There is a jumble of about 5 cars up at the front with Renault out front. Looking further back, there's a few that have chosen to stay behind. But I suppose there's going to be some jockeying for the front position here, and then a bit of jockeying to make some space in order to get quick laps without interfering with other cars. Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, well, here it's all going to be about finding a gap, because even though it's quite a small car, you don't want to have anyone around you, especially with a packed grid. It's not the shortest track because of the speed of the car, but it's quite a short outlap, and the drivers will not need to be coming into the pits probably for the whole session, because the tyres will take an age to warm up, and they won't want to go through that heat cycle again. So expect to see very few drivers tele-pitting. So yeah, this is why on their outlap they need to find themselves a bit of space, unless they are working in kind of doing a bit of team play and trying to get some slipstream down this straight. There's only one section here where I'd really call a straight, and that's the traditional Westhill 2 back straight, which goes under the bridge. But yeah, here the drivers are making their way through the traditional Westhill 1 infield, and then instead of turning right, they'll turn left for another 2 corners before they head onto the custom start finish straight. So yeah, we're looking at around about 2 minute outlap actually here today, which means the drivers are only going to get 4 or 5 flying laps if they don't choose to come back into the pits. So one more corner to go. There's the pit entry. Here's the grid. And here come the drivers over start finish to start their first timed lap.
The leading cars did find themselves a bit of a gap, but Rick Cardall is right on top of Renault Coots. We'll see how this works for him. I can't imagine that it will help much to be right on Renault. Maybe he thinks that a bit of the draft down the long straight will help here, but I'm skeptical that he's going to find much time here. I think Renault is in the best position here. And then given Pete behind has a bit of a gap, he might benefit from some of the draft. There's a bit of honking at the front now. I suppose one of them is frustrated with how closely they've come together.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they had a whole outlap to find some space, right? But yeah,
No, certainly not.
we'll see how this
I'm
pans out.
I'm looking further back and I see drivers like Harold
Yeah,
Loco.
Rick Cardle's had to bail out of that, see? Rick Cardle had to
He
absolutely
has.
bail out on the brakes there. Yeah, to avoid contact. So he'll want to find himself some space without impeding on the car behind, but Rick has already essentially aborted his first time by getting too close to the car in front, not judging the pace on the outlap, maybe. But yeah.
He may very well be impeding Given Pete at this point. He's got about a car length or two between them, but I can't imagine that Given would be too happy about that.
Yeah, Gavin driving a liveryless car this week. There you go. Hopefully he gets his livery on for the race. Normally he has a very nice looking Team Up Racing skin, but yeah, he's forgotten to put that on, I think. But here come the first times. First car across the line in around about 10 seconds time. So yeah, it's been 4 minutes of the session. So we're expecting roughly a 2 minute lap from these guys. Let's see what we get. First across the line, it's Renault Coots with a 1:53.71. Gavin Pete, obviously quicker than Rick Cardle. Rick Cardle won't be showing up at the top of the times for long because of that aborted hot lap. Got a bit too close to Renault. But maybe we can expect a quick time from Rick Cardle because Renault is currently setting the pace. We will see.
I imagine they'll find quite a bit more as the session goes on too. Renault's about a half a second off the fastest time he set in the warm up, 53. I recall 53:29, I believe, is what he did. Don't know if that was with the benefit of the draft or not, but I'm sure with tires coming up to temperature and a bit more of a gap where he doesn't have to look behind, he could probably find some more pace.
Yeah, let's see what he
Rick
can
Cardall has
manage on
gone
this lap.
by. Yeah, Rick Cardall's gone by Given Pete. I don't know if Given let him through or
I think Rick was
if
always
he.
ahead of him. Rick didn't drop that far back off the back of Renault. So he was ahead
You
when
are
they
right.
crossed the line last time, but that gap
Right.
certainly has opened up. So we expect to see a good lap from Rick Cardle here, hopefully. Hasn't been strong in qualifying in the last few rounds as the Sidus driver, but he'll hopefully do quite well here. I know some of the Sidus drivers are particularly handy in the UF1. Pauli Peltikangas being one of them. Driven against him in this car a couple of times. So let's see if Rick can get himself closer to the front row that Renault Coots currently occupies. 300ths of a second ahead of Jaban, and 27 hundredths, 2 tenths ahead of Trespasser. But as they come round the final corner for the second time, will Renault Coots improve? He does, 53.35, and there we go, as expected. Rick Cardle does pip Renault Coots to the fastest lap provisionally right now. A good lap, that.
More cars. There, it is a good lap. More cars coming across the line. I don't see any other improvements further down the order. It looks like, thus far, it looks like it's a race at the front between Rick Cardle, Renault Coots, and Shaban. A few more cars coming across the line further back, but not moving anywhere near the front. Still pretty far off the ultimate pace.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lap time from Joni Katila yet. He must be leaving it late. He only has 8 minutes left, of course. So I don't know if he's out on the lap.
Line.
All right, so
he just crossed the line 7 with a 54.59.
Yeah, I was expecting a time to come up for Joni Katila, and it has done. But I'm sure he wants to improve. He's 1.3 seconds off of Rick Cardle's time there with a 1:54.59. So hopefully some improvements to be made for one of the two Katilas here today. I'm sure Jari Katila down in P15 will also want to improve. Let's see what they can manage in the remainder of the session. Really quick session.
Yes, it is. Renault Coots is still looking awfully quick. He's gapping Rick Cardle even more coming around toward the end of the circuit. Rick put a couple wheels off in the grass after the hairpin and then in the following corners.
You know how crucial that is.
Yes, don't know that he'll find more time on this lap. We'll see if Renault can get ahead of him as he comes across the line, or if we continue this. If we continue the battle another lap.
Well, let's see. Renault Coots comes across the line, and it is an improvement, 53.13. So this battle at the front is getting quite tight. Rick Cardle unable to improve on that lap. Dropping wheels in the grass in the UF1 is not something I would recommend. You don't want to give up any lap time by doing that. This car has so little power, so little torque, that if you give up anything on your line, if you scrub any speed, if you hear lots and lots of tyre squeal, it means you're you're converting forward energy into sound and friction and heat, so you don't want to do that. The line of least resistance is most important in the UF1 of all the cars in the for speed. Nicely on the brakes there for Renault Coots into turn number 4. Onto the infield section.
He was awfully smooth there. Perfectly
great.
Onto the brakes. A great turn, and he got a brilliant exit as well. He just clipped the custom curb on the inside. He's looking awfully smooth. Further down the order, still no notable improvements. Renault Coots is definitely the class of the field. Rick has 5 minutes remaining, maybe 2-3 more laps, Pete, if he doesn't have any mistakes to try to find that time.
Well, he'll get 3 more laps, won't he? Because he'll get 3 more laps. He'll cross the line for the final time with 1 minute to go at this rate-ish. It'll be close, maybe half a minute to go. That looked super smooth.
Renault went into that corner. Yeah, super smooth. Went in awfully quick. Just started to get away from him as he was putting the power down to exit. And this being a front-wheel drive car, he drove it absolutely perfectly out to the edge of the track. Put the power down to straighten the car out. Looked really good on the way out.
Let's see if he can improve even further. He's quite close to the 152s. Not an improvement that time around, so a good lap, but Renault Coots not improving on his already impressive 53.13. Who else have we got? Trespasser. He's just about to finish a lap. Let's see if he can improve. He's 7 tenths off of the top time right now, and that was a great lap. P3 for Trespasser there with a 53.4. That puts him 2.8 tenths off of Renault Coots right now, and very close to Rick Cardle.
Behind him, Shaban's been stuck at about 53.7. we can follow him and see if he finds any further improvements. Looking down, still nothing doing further back. It is all Reno and Ricardo up at the front.
Yeah, Trespasser looked good there. I wonder if he can extract any more pace. I know he's handy in the UF1. So's Jaban. So let's see if any of those guys can get up there. P3 in the championship. Yes, Motorsports Unite is down in P8. So yeah, at this point in the championship, he wants to be up at the sharp end. You don't want to be dabbling round about the bottom of the top 10. Not when you're so close to the top of the championship. His closest rivals, Jaban and Trespasser, and Gavin Pete, in fact, all ahead of him. So Unite needs to get a wriggle on.
Oh, Trespassers, he went through the hairpin very aggressively and just missed a cut, and then on the next corner, he lost the rear end of the car, so this lap is an abort.
Yeah, he's doing some rear tyre warming there. I think he's aborted the lap, and he's just trying to get a little bit more heat, and he actually aborts, so that'll be
He's pulled off.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's lagging. There we go. So he's back. Just a little bit of a drop in connection there for Trespasser. Getting a bit of rear heat, and then he'll go for... well, at this rate, he'll get one more. He might not actually. This might be it. If he can get around this corner in 15 seconds, it'll be close. He might have left this a bit late if he wants to get two attempts
close.
Oh, I think he'll just have made it. That's good judgment. Yeah, he'll cross. Oh, actually,
he will with maybe 2 or 3 seconds to spare.
Yeah, he will. Good. So he'll get to 2 more laps. This and 1 more. We'll hopefully see him at the top of the times. Once again, Jaban isn't on the track as far as I can tell, so I think Jaban's thrown in the towel. He will end the session at least 3/10 off the back of Trespasser and around about 6/10 off the pole time, unless anyone else improves. For those of you just joining, yes, sorry, I'm joined in the commentary box by Travis tonight. He did do a quick intro at the top of the show, but for anyone wondering, Travis has been, he's been around in the community for a long time. He's had a bit of a sabbatical, I guess, but he's back to assist me with some commentary duties this evening. It's great to have him in the box.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, I would say that's accurate. I took a bit of a sabbatical, and now I'm back after meeting Pete through a mutual friend. I drove for Something Awful Racing back in Live for Speed's days of yore, and did some New Dimension racing events with Deco and Tilo and that group. So I'm glad to be back.
Yeah,
in a somewhat different capacity.
What would you say your crowning achievement is in LFS, or the thing that you enjoyed the most from back in the day?
The thing I enjoyed most back in the day. We'll come to that in a moment because Trespasser is about to finish a lap. He's been looking awfully smooth. I'll try to call both of these at once. So my best moment was actually here at Westhill. Trespasser's coming around the final corner now. Perhaps to have a better moment than I ever did at Westhill. Oh, he's really, really smooth. Just over the curb on the exit. And off the pace. Not quite there.
It's a good improvement.
He did not improve.
He didn't improve, no.
He didn't improve, but he was awfully close. Still quick laps. So, yeah, I think my greatest achievement was actually here, but it wasn't a win. It was a 3rd place. I did a dark side racing event. If anybody, I'm sure everyone in the community knows Al Payson. He was in dark side racing when I was in dark side racing, and they did an event here in the Formula V8, and the way the race went was I believe it was a 40-lap race, and there was enough, you could put enough fuel in the car to make it the complete distance on hard tires, or you could choose to go on softer tires and make a pit stop. So I chose to go light on softer tires when everyone else went on harder tires and tried to go the entire distance without a stop. And I started 4th, managed to get to the lead at the end of the first lap, and then drove away and built the gap. Made my stop, came out at 3rd place, drove up to the leader right behind him, and then threw it away oversteering in the chicane, and then had to salvage my race driving for 3rd place. But it was awfully fun. I was in the groove that day to find the lead on the very first lap of the race, and then build the gap I needed. A bit disappointing to to have wasted it, but it was great fun regardless.
Great to hear. I think Trespasser just aborted his final run there.
He,
Unite will be
he
the
did?
final car. Yeah, I think so. Unless he was just lagging, I'm not sure. No, he has aborted the run. Unite will be the
He has.
final car, and Unite also bails on that attempt. So Unite will finish in P8 unless anyone else can improve. But yeah, that looks like the end of the session. And yeah, great field. 27 cars have qualified for this interesting round of the championship. We haven't seen many open config, if any, tracks thus far in the season. There might have been one or two, I can't remember, but yeah, this was a great one for us to watch some laps at. And the racing in the UF1 is always brilliant, isn't it, Travis? It's so close and technical, and you can't lose any speed because once you do that, you get mugged by the whole field.
It
But yeah,
is. I remember it really fondly. The level of consistency required, the commitment to drive quickly, and then just being a bit different from the other cars, being front wheel drive and having to approach it a bit differently than you would a rear wheel drive car. This will be a lot of fun to
absolutely.
watch.
Yeah, and the cars we will be watching will be Renault Coots, who qualified on pole position ahead of Silas's Rick Cardle. Yes Motorsports Trespasser will line up on the second row with Jaban alongside him for Team Up Racing. Then it's Born to Race's Twin Cam, a really nice result for him. I don't think I've seen him that high up in a qualifying session in this championship so far, so a really good effort from Twin Cam there to get into the top five ahead of Gavin Pete, Ayub, and Unite. Uh, the World Class Lions duo of Timu Soini and Pekka Koivunen round out the top 10. Energy Virtual Racing's Andre Araujo will be P11. Then we've got Team Up Racing's Texas in P12. Uh, wow, Yari Katila out qualifies his son Yoni Katila there. That doesn't happen very often, but there we go. Yari ahead of Yoni for World Class Lions. Then Phantom in P15. Piran Moto's Jam in P16. Born to Race Ivor in P17. Race Green Redbot will line up in P18. Then it's Red for Born to Race P19. Kapor P20. Then it's Elmo, Heroloco, Mr. Fetch, Scattle, and Mandula rounding out the top 25. And then Boz and Gum Garage Tom Fuel in P26 and P27. This will be the starting order for race number one. And if you're new to watching or indeed commentating, Travis, on the Team Racing's Championship, you'll know that the second race of this evening's proceedings is a reverse grid race, a fully reverse grid race based on the finishing results of the first race. So lots of excitement to look forward to. Got around about 2 minutes left until the start of qualifying. What do you think people are going to need to do to keep the car ahead into the first chicane after turn one, Travis?
I anticipate the leaders will take a fairly aggressive line, stay inside, protect it. It's a bit of a risk for a passing driver to try to make a pass there, but because you have to be so committed and you have to be so precise with this car, it doesn't have a lot of power that you can use to overcome any mistakes. It is very, very important to get in front and stay out front. So I think we'll find some drivers trying to make aggressive moves. We'll find some drivers trying to make fairly aggressive defense of their position. And the track is wide enough. There's enough runoff there. I don't anticipate, and I hope we don't see any carnage, but it seems entirely possible.
Yeah, another thing to bear in mind with the UF1 is that you can't really push other drivers. It's got a very flat front end, so I don't know if you can remember, Travis, but when you're in a pack with the UF1, the last thing you want to be doing is making any contact front to rear with other cars because you kind of jump around a bit, and the collisions aren't fantastic. They don't have as rounded fronts as some of the other cars, and pushing just isn't a technique you can use. So the drivers will be staying well away from each other. Don't want any side to side or front to rear contact in the UF1. But there will definitely be the opportunity to slipstream up the back straight into the hairpin. So it will be very interesting to see where the overtaking moves will happen, especially in race two, of course. So some drivers might want to be might end up being a bit more aggressive, going late on the brakes, and there could be incidents and accidents down into that first uh, sharp left-hander at the end of the back straight. But we will have to wait and see. And
I
yeah,
anticipate a fair bit of excitement in this reverse grid race. We'll find out the drivers who who have the measure of aggression and patience, and the drivers who don't take quite so much care, knowing they need to get to the front.
Yeah,
It'll be fun to see who navigates it the best.
I think the second race here is going to be interesting because it's a slow car on a relatively long lap. We don't often see tracks being used that take nearly 2 minutes to get round, unless we're at Aston or Kyoto. Though we've got a slight delay
Uh,
here for the start of qualifying, but we should be underway any second now, so we'll just keep you posted on that. But yeah, uh, in my opinion, down to turn one, if you're on the pole side, you're going to want to just hug the inside and defend anyone coming around the outside, because I think an outside move is probably not possible unless the guy on the pole side, Renault Coots, gets a slightly worse start, perhaps. Um, the pole side is definitely favourable here. It's on the inside of the radius of the corner, but equally that might open up some opportunities for the guy in P3. So we will see. Looks like we are just about ready for the start of race number one, which will be coming up in 3, 2, 1. Here we go then. The stage is set. 27 drivers on the grid for the start of the first of two 10-lap races here at Westhill East. We have lost a car from the grid. Hopefully they rejoin. Yes, they do. Good. Renault Coots on the right. Rick Cardle on the left. We're green for the start of race number one. Renault Coots gets a great start. A lot of cars bogging down there slightly as they go through the gears a little bit. But we've got Rick Cardle already up on the right-hand side. I wonder if he's going to try and go for that outside move. Nope, he will tuck back in and he'll have to go for another move down the back straight. Travis.
Rick Cardall got an excellent start. He immediately tried to tuck in behind Renault Coots and then thought better of it and used his momentum on the outside. He did a really, really good job on the way through the chicane to take a slightly wider line and get momentum on the way out. Momentum that's pulling him aside alongside Renault right now to see if he can take him on the outside of the hairpin. This would be a very bold move indeed if he can pull it off. They're approaching the braking zone now. Who is more brave, Renault or Rick Cardall?
Oh, there's the contact I was talking about. Renault pushes Rick a little bit wide. Someone who did not have a good start at all in this race. Jaban. Jaban is all the way down in 8th place. Did not have a good start at all. But Ricciardo looking very feisty here. He had the pace in quali, but he wasn't quite able to edge out Renault Coots in the end. But now he's in the perfect spot. He's in the slipstream. Let's see if he can make this move at some point during the race. Further back, we've got Ayub going at it with Unite. Unite has got ahead. In fact, we only get updates to the timing tower at the split points on this combo, so you'll get those updates around the lap. There we go. Kevin P up to P3, Trespasser P4.
That was a lot of discipline and very good car control from Renault Coot and Rick Cardall going into the hairpin. Both of them on cold tires and very, very late onto the brakes. Got the typical rear end of the car scooting around, as the weight moves forward. And they both did really, really well to control the cars, even though they made a little bit of contact. And then both of them to get a really strong exit and end up line astern all the way around the circuit, coming around to the start-finish line for the first time.
Yeah, here come the cars. They're all nose to tail. This is what I love about the UF1. It just lends itself to wheel-to-wheel driving. We've got Jaban on the outside against Ayub. Is he going to try and make this move? Needs to be careful on the cutback because that's Unite behind him. But yeah, Jaban's going to try and get this move made as Unite gets on two wheels through the chicane there. Does the Finnish driver, and now it's all going off. Those guys have had a terrible run. That's let Pekka Koivunen pull up alongside, and he's got Andre Araujo in the rear as well. It's going to be a 3-wide situation into the hairpin.
3 wide,
Travis.
4 wide.
4 wide,
4 wide down the back straightaway.
Is Andre going to make it 5
wide?
wide?
5 wide. Oh, 4 wide again. Araujo's off into the grass, doing a brilliant job controlling the car, but he's now going to be able to slow this down on the grass.
There's
he will
contact
almost
there.
certainly overshoot the corner.
Yeah.
Yes, Unite drifts it around the outside of the hairpin and manages to maintain his position.
Yeah, Koivunen spinning.
And it's still
there.
alongside Japan.
Araujo, well, hats off to him. He had a go. That was really, really brave and late on the brakes. It just didn't pay off. And somehow, Ayub has managed to stay at the head of this battle with Jaban and Unite behind him. So that was great. Araujo actually coming back there.
He did. But I am impressed. Oh, Gianni Killa gets into him and knocks him off into the grass.
Oh, careful with the
off,
rejoin.
but he.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
that was Phantom
that
who
was
got
unfortunate.
yeah, Phantom got a little bit tagged there, so he's going to get pushed down. And yeah, you can just see that this car has no power, and he's just going to get dragged up the hill. I think that's Redbot in the background there in the red and black race green car, trying to get past now.
I was
Brilliant
about
stuff.
to say that I was impressed. I was about to say that I was impressed that coming together in the hairpin, they all managed to keep it on the road, and then it.
You spoke too soon.
The order unfurled as they came around the following corners.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Ayub. Sorry, Ayub was looking over to get past Unite there, but yeah, now he's under pressure from Jaban. Sorry, you had something you wanted to say, Travis.
I was just looking to the front again to give an update on the leaders. They are running more or less. Doze, Taylor, Reno Coots, and Ricardo may have gapped a car length or two on Gavin Pete, but otherwise the top 5 are still running together.
Jaban's
Reno Coots may have enough of a gap.
This is an interesting battle happening here. Yanni Catilla's making great ground here. He's just got past Ayub. Jaban was getting past Ayub in the chicane, and now it's going to be almost a 3 wide as we head down to the hairpin. Yeah, Jaban with the better straight line of speed able to cover him off, but Yanni dips into the toe. Not quite alongside. He might go for it on the brakes though. He's in the right position. A little bit earlier on the brakes there, and Jaban will take that position for now. This is great stuff.
Yanni Catilla made a very wise decision there to get in the brakes a little bit early, and it almost worked out for him. He was able to take a tight line into the hairpin and was briefly alongside Ayub. Now he's in the catbird seat to watch these two ahead of him come together.
Trespasser and Gavin Pete going for it. Yes, Motorsport versus Team Up Racing for the top of the championship. There's contact, but Gavin maintains that third place for now. Can Trespasser get him back up the hill? This looks like so much fun to drive. I wish I was in this race, to be honest. It's my sort of racing, this pack racing. As they head out for the final couple of corners, Trespasser needs to tuck into the slipstream of that Team Up Racing car. As we've got a mover down the field. Is that Yanni Catilla or... I think it might have been Yanni Catilla and Tom Fuel dropping down the order. Sorry, Yari Catilla. But Tom Fuel definitely losing out some places there.
Trespasser has made the move on Gavin Pete. He took a slightly narrower line coming toward the final corner and got alongside, and then made it stick on the inside coming to the start-finish line. And now he is firmly ahead. Gavin Pete right on his tail coming into the chicane.
Gavin won't give this up. Trespasser with a little bit of a wiggle there, and Gavin taking a bit of grass. That's going to open him up to Born to Race Twin Cam, who's still there. He's still in P5. This is a really good effort from the Born to Race driver. We haven't seen him up in the front of the field this season, really, and this is a great effort from Born to Race with Twin Cam right up there in the order. Further down, it looks like Yanni Catilla's been getting involved with Jaban and Ayub again. Yes, Motorsports Unite has really pulled away in front of these three, though. It's 3 wide again. Yanni on the outside, Jaban in the middle, Ayub on the inside. Who's going to be the last late breakers? It looks like Jaban's going to take it. Ayub was really well poised, but not able to get the job done. Yanni's in a good place here for the next right-hander, though. He's got a
Yanni
nose
was
in
pushed
there.
wide onto the grass. Yanni was pushed wide onto the grass and managed to get a great exit regardless, and he may make this stick if he is brave coming to the next corner and can send it on the outside.
Yeah, Ayub's going to sit back and watch this. I think he's going to have to try and make a move on Yanni at some point. We're on the bonnet cam of Ayub as we head up the hill. He's lost a bit of time there. Just wasn't able to find a way past Yanni on the entry to that corner. Sometimes in this car it is good just to put a nose on the inside, just so that you carry momentum, even if the driver ahead of you is slightly compromised. A great line there from Yanni Catilla, taking plenty of grass, but crucially getting enough of a gap from Ayub that the slipstream will be not as effective for the Born to Race driver. Renault Coots.
Yanni's driving.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Pete. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Renault Coots crosses the line to start lap number 5 ahead of Rick Cardle. Then it's Trespasser in P3, closely followed still by Gavin Pete. Twin Cam P5. Unite's got a bit of a gap over the squabble behind in P6. Jaban P7, and then Yanni Catilla and Ayub going at it once again. They don't want to be
side by side going into
often.
the chicane. Yeah, they were side by side going into the chicane. Ayub thought better of it. I've been impressed watching Yanni Catilla. He's driving a remarkably
But look at
disciplined
Texas
race
now.
in spite of all the excitement.
All that battling has meant that Texas is able to get in on this battle. And yeah, let's see what he can manage here. It looks like Abe's got the corner. Well, he's definitely got the position. I don't think Texas is going to be able to manage anything around the outside here unless he's... oh, yeah, there we
Very
go.
unstable on the brakes. He did well to power slide it through the corner and end up right on Abe's bumper.
Yeah, Abe just didn't get the best entry to that corner, so I think Texas might have compromised him a little bit. But nonetheless, he keeps it ahead. Andre's looking on in the background in that orange UF1. This is great wheel-to-wheel racing that we're watching here as Abe takes a nice exit there.
Abe narrowly avoided contact in front, and then Araujo came up behind him, and he narrowly avoided contact again from behind. He is in a pressure cooker here with cars on all sides and in front of ahead and in front and behind him.
Indeed, let's see what we've got going on out front. It looks like the gap between Rick Cardle and Renault Coots is pretty stable. Trespasser not really making any inroads, but definitely action here between Born to Race Twin Cam and Gavin Pete. I don't know whether Gavin's made an error somewhere, but Twin Cam for Born to Race is knocking on the door of P4 here, and with 5 laps to go, anything's possible for the Irish driver with those beautiful lime green wheels on the Born to Race car there. I'm rooting for Born to Race here. I think this is a great thing to see. Yeah, I've not seen anything like this from Twin Cam all season long. So especially to be battling with Gavin Pete, who's fighting for the championship, this is great stuff.
Gavin Pete had a slightly rough entry and then drive over the chicane. It looked like Twin might manage to find his way alongside him, but I don't know that he had a great exit through the chicane as well. But I'm impressed to see him sticking together so closely. Twin very late on the brakes there.
Look at
ends
that.
up right on Gavin Pete's bumper.
Gavin was looking
That was
up.
impressive driving.
Gavin's brakes are not as well tuned as Twin Cam's here. Look at Twin. He's absolutely on it. He's going to go for the move.
He's got to look.
He's got a nose inside. This is brilliant stuff. He's going to be compromised in his line for the next part of this corner. Yeah, opts to stick on the outside a little bit, and he'll try and tuck back maybe up the hill. He just needs to keep applying the pressure. That's all he needs to do. He needs to find a way around. He has to make these moves or put his nose on the inside in this car. You're not
That was very smart driving. Very smart driving by Gavin Pete to give him the inside, knowing that it would compromise him on the next few corners. To use discretion, to let him carry that momentum, not have it coming together in that corner, and then use his momentum to take the position back.
Yeah, this is brilliant racing between these two, and yeah, this is nice to see a driver we don't normally have the opportunity to see in the top positions having a go at the heels of a potential championship winner. So great stuff. Anything else going on in the field, Travis, that you can see? Any close cars that we should be focusing on?
Renault Coots has just set a very impressive. As Twin goes by on the inside, Gavin Pete through the chicane. He has the position over the curb.
It's going to be wide. It's going to be tricky down the back straight. Twin with a little bit of a compromised middle part of the chicane, but
he used a lot of grass to keep his momentum up. Gavin Pete is going to come back on him.
This is great stuff.
And they're going to go side by side down the back straight. I was saying that the Renault Coots set a very impressive fastest lap of the race, about a 10th quicker than his qualifying lap. He is driving away at the front. Gavin Pete is going to have a look. He's alongside. We'll see who can go later on the brakes here. Twin has been so impressive on the brakes into this corner. Pete locks it up, but manages to carry the momentum and carry a bit of an advantage as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Unite will be licking his chops in the background. He is catching ever so slightly. We are running out of laps. We've got 4 to go, 3.5. And that little error there from Twin probably going to cost him quite a lot of time. Well, yeah, it's going to cost him another opportunity because that gap might not look big, but in terms of time in these slow cars, it's quite a big gap, and it'll take him at least a couple of corners to bring it back down again. Let's see how he manages on the next lap. This really is the closest battle that we've got on track, I think, between anybody, and it's shaping up to be a good one. Both drivers leaving each other plenty of room. Really, really great sporting racing. But yeah, we are running out of laps.
Gavin Pete found a bit of a gap in the prior corners, but now Twin is right on him again, coming into the final corner and around to the start-finish line.
Yeah, here come the race leaders. We've got Renault Coots leading Rick Cardle, and then Trespasser in P3, who seems to be having a bit of a connection wobble today. But anyway, he's got plenty of room, so it's not going to affect cars around him. Then we've got this battle between Gavin Pete and Twin Cam. Then it's Yes Motorsports Unite who is catching up to that battle, and Jaban is hot on his heels in that red and blue Team Up Racing car. Yannick Attila has managed to make his way quite handily through the field. In fact, he's up quite a lot of positions from the start of the race, I think, to be ahead of Abe, the other Born to Race driver, inside the top 10. Araujo still dicing around with Texas. That's for the final spot inside the top 10. And yeah, some great racing up and down the field. As
Texas is nearly looped going into the hairpin.
yeah,
Just
it was
managed to gather it up and drive over the curb.
almost like a reverse entry that he tried there. That was very strange approach, and that's cost him a whole bunch of time to the back of Araujo there.
Looking down the order, the battles have mostly spread out. We have a number of them going 2 by 2, but further back, I'm looking at Phantom and a train of cars behind him.
Yeah,
there's still some close racing side by side with Redbot and Koivunen.
Yeah,
Pekka jam right behind them.
Great move there, but is Redbot going to try and get back on the outside now? He actually yields that position. Pekka runs quite wide. Someone we haven't seen in the championship so far. I don't know if this is Jam's first race with us, but yeah, that Piran Moto car, the 616, down in P17 right now, kind of on his own. And yeah, great move there from Pekka Koivunen up to P15 with 2 laps to go after this one. Yeah, Renault Coots just crosses the line. We've got 2 laps to go. That gap between him and Rick Cardle is, well, there's nothing really between them. But over the 8 laps that they've done, it has opened up, obviously. Rick Cardle just not with that ultimate pace to overcome the consistency and 1 lap pace of Renault Coots in this race so far. Trespasser, back where we're used to seeing him actually. He's not had the best run of luck in the last few rounds. But a solid podium right now for the S Motorsport driver. Gavin Pete still under pressure here from Twin Cam. Go for it, Traz.
Those two are the closest and most competitive race on the track at this point. Twin right on his rear as they come into the hairpin.
Yeah,
clattered the curb,
the curb.
But managed to gather it up. Looking a little bit further back, Japan's gotten has found a pretty good gap on Yannick Attila, and Yannick Attila has also managed to get Ayub off his bumper, get a little bit of a breather from the pressure on behind him, but it doesn't look like he has the pace to catch up to the cars ahead.
I'm confused as to what's happened here. I'm sure Ayub was further up than this. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe I've lost track somewhere, but yeah, I thought Ayub was slightly higher up. Perhaps not. It's still a respectable place for Ayub in P9.
It is.
His teammate has dropped off the back of Gavin slightly. Maybe he went for a move earlier in the lap. And yeah, we'll see if on the final lap he can close up that little gap that he's got. But yeah, Renault Coots has now started the final lap of the race. Commanding lead and very strong showing from him. But let's look at the spread of the drivers from P1 to the back. It's not as big as it will be at some other tracks because obviously UF1 quite slow, means you have plenty of time to think about corners and there's less risk of really messing up. So Renault Coots, if he finishes in this position, is going to have a seriously big task on his hand to carve his way through the field in the reverse grid race that we've got coming up after this one. Rick Cardle, likewise, he's got the pace, but he'll be starting ahead of Renault Coots, crucially, for the next race if it finishes like this. And
looking at the times as they've been crossing the line, Renault Coots has been consistently setting laps at or near his qualifying times, whereas Rick Cardall, Trespasser, the cars behind him are setting respectable times, but just nowhere near him. It will be interesting to see if Renault can use that pace when he has to navigate traffic.
Yeah, Japan is looking feisty here. It doesn't look like sorry, not Red Bot. Twin Cam is anywhere near the back of Gavin Pete. The closest battle at the top of the field is this one. Japan on Unite. There's 3 corners to go. Can Japan make this move?
I believe Unite must have gotten by Japan on the last lap. I believe Japan was ahead,
Okay, so yeah,
so he may be recovering this position.
that might have been my mistake again. But yeah, yeah, great to see Unite making some places up. But we should turn our focus to the front of the field because Renault Coots comes around the final corner to win a very comfortable race 1. It looked like it might be a bit tricky at the start when Rick Cardle was all over him, but Rick Cardle comes across the line in P2, then a well-deserved P3 for Trespasser. Twin Cam not able to get past Gavin Pete there, but further behind, Unite and Japan were side by side across the line, Travis, with Yoni Katila coming across in P8, AU P9. Andre Araujo rounds out the top 10. Just behind him was Team Up Racing's Texas. A good result there for the Argentinian Yeroloco, P12. Gabor, P13. Not a particularly good result for him. He would have expected to be higher up, I'm sure, uh, would Gabor. Then Phantom, Pekka Koivunen, Piramoto Jam, Redbot, as we've got a world-class Lions driver who kind of lost it on the approach to the finish there. Was that Boz? Yeah, it was. Interesting. Might have lost a position there. Not sure how he's managed that. So yeah, Redbot P17, world-class Lions, Yari Katilla in P18. Chris McElroy for TC Racing in P19. Race Greens Mandula P20. And that rounds out the top 20. Just waiting for the bottom of the list. Born to Race Ivor, P21. Gum Garage, Mr. Fetch in P22. Then we've got Born to Race Scattle in P23. Born to Race Red in P24. Tom Fuel for Gum Garage in P25. And World Class Lions Boz with that dramatic pirouette to the finish line. Not sure he entirely meant to do that, but there we go. 26 finishes, a great race, and lots to look forward to for the reverse grid race, Travis.
Yes, there will. I anticipate even more excitement in the next race. Renault was obviously the class of the field in this race. His ultimate pace, I think, will be difficult, if not impossible, to touch by the cars behind him. I'm really impressed by Gavin Pete. If you look at the best lap, you can see that there are a lot more cars ahead and behind that have more outright pace than he does, but he made a very strong finish with consistency. So I would look to him to be pretty strong in the next race, even with a reverse grid, just taking care of the car and making wise decisions.
Yeah, I mean,
Likewise, Yoni Katila.
yeah, exactly. He made up a lot of places. I can't quite remember where he qualified, but he was quite a way down the field. In fact, Yari Katila was ahead of him, and yeah, so Yoni with a strong race. So maybe that's kind of an indicator of how difficult it might be to get through the field for some of these quick drivers. We'll have to wait and see because 27 cars is a long way. A lot
Yes,
of
it is.
moving chicanes to navigate, and as we saw, yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get past. We've got 3 minutes until the start of race number 2. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back here, so don't go anywhere. The reverse grid race coming up in around about 3 minutes time. Hello and welcome back to the start of race number 2. Travis is going to take us away for the start. We've got WCL Boz on pole position. Take it away, Travis.
All right, we're looking at Boz and Tom Fuel on the front row of the grid. The red lights are coming on, and now we are green. Boz gets a pretty good start. Tom Fuel an even better start. Both of them are gapping the cars behind. Tom Fuel alongside, coming down to the very first chicane. Both of them side by side, neither of them gaining an advantage. Tom Fuel looking to see if he can get through, uses discretion. Uses discretion to fall in behind Boz. Boz goes a bit wide onto the grass, nearly steers the car back across to the left. Tom Fuel all over his bumper making contact. Boz manages to keep the
We've
lead
got a huge
with Tom
accident,
Fuel.
Travis, in the background. We had a car spinning over. We've got more drama. I don't know whether this will get red flagged or anything, but yeah, the session has been red flagged. We had Born to Race Red on his roof at turn number 1, and the race will be ended. The grid will be reset, and we will go again because that was dramatic to say the least, for everybody there further down the field. The leader's got a great start, but yeah,
They did.
not great for anyone else. So I wonder how this red flag situation will pan out. I don't think we've had one for a while in the TRR Championship. We don't normally see red flags being handed out, but only for exceptionally poor starts in race 2. So yeah, we will be back in a few moments once the grid has been reset. And yeah, don't go anywhere.
Okay,
Hello
copy.
and welcome back to the start of race number 2, or the restart rather of race number 2. We're just waiting for a couple of the drivers to get themselves back on the grid, and yeah, hopefully we don't see any cars rolling over at the start of this one, Travis.
That was pretty exciting. I was watching the front to see the leaders come through, and having a good time. Because they gave us plenty to talk about, and I missed the carnage that happened further back in the grid. Hopefully, we won't see that again. I agree.
Absolutely. We'll just be waiting for a couple more minutes because we have still some gridding to be done on the server. A couple of drivers timing out, etc. So yeah, everybody just needs to take it easy down into turn number 1. I know that on a reverse grid race, it is important to make up as many places as you can at the start, but hopefully we end up with yeah, no casualties at turn number 1, or fewer casualties, should we say. It's impossible to have none in the Team Racing Championship second race. But yeah, hopefully we get a cleaner start, Travis.
It'll be interesting to see now that the leaders have had a practice start and a chance to reset if they can regroup, think about the mistakes or the challenges that they had coming down to the first corner, and maybe do it a little more cleanly this time. And then likewise, everyone behind. Everyone's had a shot. The start of this race is a known quantity now. The faster drivers at the very back of the grid should have some idea about the caution they need to take to get through these back markers. I anticipate this will be a bit cleaner, but every bit as exciting.
Hopefully. Okie dokie, the race is beginning. We will bring you live pictures in just a couple of seconds. Travis, take us away for the start of race number 2.
Here we are, back with the cars at the start of this race here at Westhill. We've got Tom Fuel and Boz on the front row of the grid. The lights should be coming up in just a moment. We got 1 red light, 2 red lights, 3 red lights on, and we are green to go. Boz gets out of the clutch and takes off. Tom Fuel with a much better start, much as he did in the last race. Boz still able to carry some momentum and stay alongside Tom Fuel. Tom Fuel's going to take the car out wide. Not quite to the curb. Looks like he's trying to squeeze Boz. Tom Fuel thinks better of trying to make that pass on the outside the very first corner and tucks in behind Boz. Boz got a slightly narrow entry into the second part of the chicane. Tom Fuel's carrying a bit more momentum and might have a look if he can use the draft to get a pass down into the hairpin. Pete, what do we have further back?
We have a clean start, Travis. I'm very glad to say. So far, anyway, as we come down to turn number 3 or 4, this is definitely the corner where I expect to see some incidents and accidents. A lot of drivers using a lot of caution on that restart. That's great to see. It looks like Boz is going to be under pressure here. Gum Garage, Tom Fuel having a great look there, but yeah, there's some clattering over the curbs in the background, Travis.
Tom Fuel and Boz left it a little late. Left the brakes a little bit late. Scattle was able to close up behind them. Looking further back, there is a mess of cars, 4 wide going to this corner. Red thinks
Yeah.
better of trying to tuck in. Redbot goes over to the curb. They somehow manage to all avoid contact. Still 3, 4 wide going into the left-hander. Loco on the outside trying to make it stick. Just touches Red. Red is going to go over the curb and manages to gather it up without diving across the cars coming in behind him. Still 3, 4 wide ahead and behind. Trespasser making up positions. Rick Cardall also making up a number of positions from the very back of the grid. This is there's a lot happening back here, Pete.
Yeah, but look at the winner from the last race. Oh, as we've got Rick Cardle spinning around
Cardall's
there.
run around. He got into the side of Reno Coots.
Yeah, Renault Coots
is now
not having a
all over
great
the
start
horn.
either. Renault Coots is third to last. Rick Cardle is now last. And we thought it was going to be difficult for these guys, these quicker guys, to get as good a start in race 2. This is going to be seriously difficult. They're just going to have to take their time, pick their way through. They've got 20 minutes, but they've got a lot of ground to make up. As a Yes Motorsport driver
making a
there,
very
yeah.
aggressive move there. And Reno Coots going around him on the outside, but he's going to be in the grass. Can
Twin
he
Cam's on
probe
the
it?
grass
He
as
does.
well. Ahead. The 5th place driver from the last race is going to be under pressure now from Trespasser. Twin Cam lost a lot of momentum there, and Trespasser takes full advantage and swings past into the first part of the chicane.
A little bit of contact with Twin as they go through the second part of the chicane and now into the left-hander. Twin is going to be under pressure from Ayub and Reno Coots behind him. Reno Coots is going to go by easily, and Ayub's going to follow him.
Ayub's going to make it 3 wide, so it's a born to race sandwich there for Reno Coots. Yeah, our attention is at the back of the field just now because these are the guys who we expect to cars their way through the field. But meanwhile, at the front, we have 2 born to race drivers in the top positions. It looks like Ivor and Scattle have made a great start there. Boz, likewise. Boz has absolutely taken off now once he's got past the Gum Garage driver of Tom Fuel. Ivor and Scattle right there in the podium positions. They'll want to keep it clean and bring home another good result for Born to Race in race 2.
Further back again, Araujo, Texas, and Gavin Pete all went 3 wide into the hairpin and managed to make it stick. Gavin Pete being the greatest benefactor of that coming together. He's going to get ahead of Texas. Araujo is trying to muscle his way past Trespasser. Trespasser going to stay ahead. Reno Coots trying really, really hard to use his momentum. He's alongside Trespasser now. There's a little bit of contact ahead of them.
It's an absolute
Cars going
gaggle
2
of
by
cars
2
here.
into the left-hander.
Yeah, as we get a fantastic overhead view as the cars come down, you can see Renault Coots tucked in there besides Trespasser. Trespasser has the inside, and that's Piramoto's Jam on the outside there, on the very outside of the track there. Twin cam side by side with them now, but here comes Renault Coots. He's going to have a look. Nope, thinks better of it. Trespasser narrowly ahead. Oh, there's a little bit of contact.
Oh, bit of
Bit of
contact. He's going
contact
to push
ahead. That's
Trespasser
Kevin
off.
Pete off. Who else
Pete
is
and
off
Tex
there?
is off.
Yeah.
Renault Coots has gone off.
Yeah, this is a disaster.
I didn't see what happened, but Renault Coots
I
made
definitely didn't
contact
see
after
what
coming out
happened
of the
there.
corner.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Renault Coots there, but that's a disaster for him. But yeah, what's most striking is that the Team Up Racing teammates took each other out. Texas and Gavin Pete, in fact, and that is not good for Gavin Pete's championship.
Renault Coots had made up a few positions and is now right back where he started at the very back of the grid one more time. Meanwhile, Rick Cardall has made up a number of positions. He's going around Araujo now as the cars are stacking up behind him 2 by 2 going into the hairpin one more time.
Phantom, the 221, with the fastest lap of the race. He is looking to, he's looking for a pretty good position here as we've got Gabor chasing him. Elmo's behind him as well. Mandula's already lost out of place to Phantom, but he's looking around the outside to try and maybe make that position back up.
Trespasser just muscled his way past Pekka Koivunen with a very aggressive move over the curb. He was there the whole time, but very, very late to try to commit to the move, and then
Pekka
2
Koivunen
wheels
not
in the
happy with
grass.
that. Look at that. He's really throwing that car up the inside. That was quite aggressive, but looks like it's paid off. These guys giving each other enough room through this latter part of the lap. And now Pekka Koivunen is under pressure there from Twin Cam. Twin Cam with a very optimistic move, and it seems to have paid off.
Trespasser has been very, very aggressive and late on the brakes, but has been making it stick. He's making good moves. We'll see if he can keep this up. Driving that aggressively, it's so easy to make a mistake. But keeping that momentum is, keeping that kind of momentum up is really risky. Twin Cam is going to go a little bit wide, went in a little bit hot, and Pekka Koivunen managed to take the position.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these drivers at the back of the grid just need to, they've got 6 laps to go, 7 laps to go. And we've got the battle for the lead is also closing up. We've got Boz and Scattle quite close together. This Born to Race duo are working quite well together. They're not getting in each other's way too much. They're closing the gap. They're thinking of the bigger picture. And it looks like there's going to be a 3-way battle on for the lead of this race very soon, as the B2R drivers are just slipstreaming each other down the back straight.
Yep, he was looking to make a move. Thinks a little bit better of diving his teammate, but Scattle gets it a little out of sorts on the brakes. And Eva might, oh no, Scattle gets a really good exit. Eva tried to keep it a little bit too tight, couldn't carry the momentum out of the corner. Scattle's going to hold the position and carry that momentum up toward the leader of the race.
Yeah, even though they're battling, they are actually catching Boz, so I don't think they need to worry too much about being in the hunt for the lead of the race unless they get in each other's way too much. I heard some crunching.
Off on the grass a little bit further back. He and Chris McElroy were honking at each other and bumping and banging a little bit. Both of them got out of sorts. Yoni Katila ended up on the grass, and Chris McElroy ended up fishnailing a little bit before gathering it up.
Yeah, now Jaban's looking at the inside.
Take advantage by going by him.
Yeah, Jaban making the move there on Chris McElroy. And there's a little bit more contact, but Jaban on the inside gets the run he needs. Meanwhile, in the background, Tom Fuel is defending from the Katilas. That's Yoni Katila right on the rear of Tom Fuel. Tom Fuel goes quite wide and kind of gives Yoni the run that he needs, but he'll be on the inside for the next corner. Let's see how this one pans out. I think Yoni's already ahead. He is indeed.
Tom Fuel used a lot of discretion there to let Yoni go. It looks like Yoni's quite a bit quicker. It would slow them both down to try to fight it.
Yeah, we've got a 4-way fight in the background. We've got Gavin Pete involved there. Who else have we got behind there? The TRR Texas also. He's in a fight for the last place, basically, with Renault Coots and is that Born to Race Red? Yeah, so Born to Race Red with a terrible race. He's absolutely dropped like a stone through this pack. He was right at the front, and he's right at the back now.
Back of that pack, Gavin Pete's going to tuck in and take the slipstream. He was going to defend it really aggressively all the way to the inside of the back straightaway here. Ahead of them, Pekka Koivunen going ahead of Unite on the outside into the hairpin. Easily clears Unite into the braking zone to slow down. make the left-hander unite, takes a peek to come back by him. Gavin Pete really late on the brakes, ends up losing out to Ayub.
Yeah, meanwhile, just up ahead of those guys, I saw Rick Cardle bouncing across the curbs. Twin Cam and Araujo right there as well. Yeah, the top guys from the last race haven't really made much ground other than Trespasser. Trespasser is the exception to that. He is in P13, so knocking on the door of a top 10 in this second race, which is great considering the rest of the top guys from race 1 just haven't made any progress. They've been tangling with each other, and it's been a disaster really for those guys.
It has. At the front, Pete, we missed this. We didn't see what happened, but Scattle's gone ahead of Boz. He was maybe a second and a half behind in a battle with his teammate, and has now managed to turn that into several car lengths lead ahead of Boz,
Yeah, it's
with
all bunching
Eva
up though,
still
isn't it?
further behind Boz.
Yeah,
It
we've
is.
got Gabor and Mandula also trying to get involved with the front of this group. They've kind of picked their way through from the mid pack, and they're now in contention for the race win. We're halfway through now as we head on to lap 6. And yeah, there's also a battle between Mandula and... No, sorry, that's Jaban and Phantom.
Ban has made the most of his pace. I believe he has made up the most positions coming from the back of the grid. He finished fourth or fifth in the previous race, Pete, remind me, and has come all the way up to sixth on the 6th position in this race. From pretty deep in the order.
Yeah, he's currently P7. He's battling for P6 with Phantom, and it looks like he will take P6 at the end of this straight if he keeps going the way he's going. Also looks like Gabor might be having a go at the back of Ivor. We're going to stick with this battle though, because Jaban is going to make this move into the left-hander. Is he? Looks like he is. That was a very nice move. Well done to Jaban there. Let's turn our attention to Gabor, who is side by side now with Ivor. This is for the final podium position. The white car of Yes Motorsports Gabor with Race Green Autosports' Dan Mandula also going through there in the Pete's Pizza skin. So Ivor losing out 2 places there.
Gabor positioned his car very, very aggressively, but fairly on the way out of the hairpin, left just enough room for Eva to stay on the road, but forced him to decide whether he wanted to stay alongside. Oh, Gabor goes wide onto the grass. That's going to give Mandula the position, and Eva's going to be able to come back past him.
Yeah, and look at Jaban. Jaban is going to be lining up these guys as well. He's trying to line up the Born to Race car. That's Ivor, and hasn't actually made the move. He's going to go to the inside though, and he'll try and force his way through into this corner here. Yeah, Ivor gives him the room. Nice. No fight
Gave him
there.
a courtesy.
Yep.
Jaban gave him a courtesy honk to let him know that he was there before he came through.
We're looking out of the rear view of Mandula, who goes quite wide into the penultimate corner. That's going to give Gabor a bit of a run. It's held them both up. Jaban's got a great run here. Look at him. He's in the red and blue Team Racing car there. What's Mandula going to do here?
More early on the brakes. Ivor late on the brakes. Nearly took out Jaban further back.
Yeah, Jaban's
looks
got
like Jaban's going to have a good
run here. Yeah, Gabor is going to be under all sorts of pressure down the back straight as Gabor runs quite wide yet again. Mandula's got a bit of breathing room, so it's all on between Jaban and Yes Motorsports Gabor.
At the front, Scattle maintaining the gap on Boz, but the cars behind are coming, and they are coming quickly. It will be a lot for Scattle to do to keep this pace up, or to find some more pace in order to keep these cars behind him.
But
the likes of Japan.
Yeah, they're all fighting with each other though, Travis. There's a lot of infighting going on, and I have to say that I think Gabor and Jaban especially have lost time to Scattle while they've been doing this. And we're running out of laps. We've only got 4 to go after this one. 3 to go after this one. Thank you, race director in my ear. Gabor has Jaban all over the back of him. They're still going to be side by side as we head up the hill.
Seems like Gabor may have used a little bit more of the tire. He's kind of out of sorts in the slower corners, overdriving the car a little bit, trying to keep the pace up. Meanwhile, Japan is very, very smooth.
Yeah, nice move.
Uses that to his advantage to get through.
But now look at the gap to Mandula. While they've been battling, Mandula has just been holding his line, doing everything he needs to do to hold on to that podium position. And yeah, when we cross the line, there will be 3 laps to go. You can see basically the top 8 in your shot right now. It's all very, very close at the front. A lot closer than it was last race because of the nature of reverse grid racing. There's the top 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers all coming across the start-finish line now. Jaban moves up to P4, Gabor down to P5, Yoni Katila P6, Ivor P7, Phantom P8, Elmo and Yari Katila round out the top 10, and
Oh,
Trespasser.
Scattle gets it wrong halfway through the chicane, goes over the grass in the second part. The right-hander loses a bit of momentum. Boz and Mandula are coming now, and Shaban up behind them.
Yeah, Mandula, Boz absolutely ruined the chicane, and Mandula's just said thank you very much and gives him a courtesy peep as he goes through as well. I was going to say before that all unfolded, Trespasser got the fastest lap. He is in P11 right now, and he's absolutely flying. I wonder how many places he can make up in the remaining laps that we have. Oh, that looked close on the brakes there. Boz getting it a little bit wrong. That's going to give Jaban the run that he needs to potentially take over that podium position. Not quite yet. Boz is defending the inside. Remember that Boz was leading this race.
Jaban was heroically late on the brakes and made up a lot of time, several car lengths right there, and ended up right on Boz's tail on the way out of the corner. And now he's going to have a look here, aggressively moving over the curb. Boz closes the door, knows that he has the space, and manages to stay in front of him. Jaban is still behind for the time being, but tried to take a wider line into the next corner, uses momentum, come alongside Boz, which he may be able to do up the hill.
Yeah, this is great stuff between these two. Boz defending for the podium and Jaban wanting those points, being so far up in the championship. He's got a good run. Boz rightly goes defensive. Does he go defensive enough? Yep. Jaban has to take the outside line. He'll try and get him back on the exit.
Ben went a bit wide into the left-hander, but did a good job keeping the momentum up. See if he has a look into this corner. He does not. Thinks better of it. He knows he's got a lap remaining across the line. See if he can... 2 laps to go across the line. We'll see if he can find the time. Oh, he's looking to the inside of Boz. Pete. Can he make it stick?
I'm sure he can at that point. I think the move's already basically done. Or... yeah, so onto the back straight we go. Jaban up into P3. And Boz in P4. We've got a battle going on in the background. That's Phantom and Ivor having a bit of a ding-dong there. And yeah, that's allowed Trespasser to move up as well. Trespasser well inside the top 10 now. He's up to P8. So he's made up 3 places in the
Easily
last
got
lap.
the position. Ben late on the brakes.
Got a battle for the lead. Mandula might end up winning this. Can you believe it? After battling with Jaban a couple of laps ago, Mandula for race green is all over the back of Scattle. So this is quite the turnout. Didn't expect to see this happening, but that's what happens when you infight and you battle with each other. You end up with unexpected results further forward. Jaban, however, does have some free air, but he only has a lap and a half remaining to try and get up to those top 2 drivers. So yeah,
I'm sure Japan is loving this because he knows from the previous race that he has better pace than these two, and if they are fighting, that gives him the opportunity to catch up and maybe snatch a race win. But he's still kind of far back, coming around to start the final lap in just a few moments' time.
there's a move going on in the background. It's Trespasser and Gabor. Trespasser moves ahead of Gabor. That'll be P6 for the Yes Motorsport driver, overtaking his teammate. Just before we head on to the final lap. So yeah, it's all or nothing now for Mandula. Scattle is doing everything he needs to do just now to stay ahead of the race green machine. There you are, confirmation on your screen that Trespasser has moved up to P6. Great effort from him from the back of the grid. Jaban also. Drivers who weren't fortunate. Go on.
Jaban's got a great run through the chicane. Skydle goes wide, really wide on the curb with Mandula behind him. Jaban may just have the faintest chance here. He's within a number of car lengths. He might have the draft, and he's been late onto the brakes, really, really good into the hairpin. If the 2 ahead of him keep fighting, he still has the faintest shot at a race win here, but it's his chances are diminishing.
Yeah, he's running out of corners, and also running out of corners is Mandula. He's managed to drop back quite a bit from Scattle there. As in the background, we see Trespasser making a move on Boz. That's brilliant. So Trespasser up to P5. What a move at the end of the back straight there. Gabori's teammate not able to make the move, and he's under pressure from Phantom. We've got a battle on further back between Chris McElroy and, you have to say, a good recovery from Rick Cardle, who after a spin on lap 2 or lap 1 was all the way at the back.
Cattle runs wide at the very front. Manjula's going to be alongside him, going over the curb into the
This is going to be
left-hander.
a grandstand finish. Mandula taking the wider line, tries to get the cut back, but he's given too much time there. And Jaban is going to be thinking, one corner to go, or two corners to go. Can I make anything of this? Scattle may have done everything he needs to do here.
He looked really good in the left-hander there, and he's got plenty of space to just keep it clean to the right-hander and go across the line for the win.
I think that's it. I think Mandula will have to settle for second and Jaban for third, because
Jaban sends a heroic drive into the last corner.
Scattle will take the win for race number 2. Jaban narrowly missing out on P3. Mandula takes that position in P2. Jaban P3. Yoni Katilla, fastest lap on the final lap, and P4 for him. Yes Motorsports Trespasser, a great drive from the back of the grid to finish P5. World Class Lions Boz in P6. Then it's Gabor, who lost a few places on the last couple of laps there to finish P7. Phantom with a good effort there, P8. Ivor, after being in P2 for a fair amount of the race, came unstuck a little bit and finishes down in P number 9. Rick Cardle, you have to say that was a good recovery considering we saw him facing backwards on lap 1. To get back up into the top 10, that's a great effort from Rick there. Chris McElroy narrowly missing out on P number 10 in the dying laps. He finishes P11. Then it's Twin Cam, the star from the first race, with another good result, you have to say. P12, he'll be happy with that, I imagine. Then it's Jari Katila for World Class Lines in P13. Jero Loco, P14. Renault Coots, P15. Pekka Koivunen in P16. Gavin Peat, P17. Not a good race for Gavin Peat. Ayub, P18. Redbot for Race Green in P19. And Andre Araujo rounds out the top 20. Texas, Red, Gum Garage, Mr. Fetch, Piramoto, Jam, and Tom Fuel round at the top 25. And last but not least, the 26 finishes. World Class Lines, Teemu Soini is the last of them. That was an entertaining race, wasn't it? After the restart.
That was an entertaining race right before the restart. We got a fair bit of excitement with car parts flying all over the track, and then even more so afterward. That was fun to watch. So impressive from Japan, coming from pretty deep, using that pace and navigating the traffic to get up toward the front. Nearly snatched to P2, and well done to Scattle. That's it's hard to drive with fast cars in your mirrors like that, but he kept cool. He got it done. Really well done to him.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant drive from Scattle. And yeah, for a change, we are joined in the commentary box by one of the drivers from today. Hello, Mr. Fetch for Gum Garage. You finished that race in P23. So a little bit of a mixed bag this evening. Talk us through your event.
Well, I didn't have much practice because I only signed up to this race on Sunday, so I didn't have much practice. I was basically just practicing on the track, just doing quick laps with my teammate, Mr. Tom Fuel, who's the manager for Gum Garage. So I was actually surprised to beat him on track, and obviously we care about clean driving. But apart from that, the first race went well. Was expecting to start behind the pack, and all I was mainly focusing on was really just keeping it clean through the race. I didn't really want to go all into it, but I kind of missed my braking zone a little bit going into turn 4, I think, turn 4 or 5, the very hard braking zone. And I can't remember where I finished in that one. But then we went on to the second race, and before the red flag incident, I saw a car being flipped, so I slammed on the brakes, but then saw that he's coming onto my line, and then I just didn't see how I could have avoided that. And then I got spun round, and just all hell broke loose. And luckily, the session was red flagged, and we went for another race. And in the second race, I think I went well. I think I had a few incidents throughout the race, again with missing my braking zone and maybe trapping off a few drivers and stuff. But I think all in all, to say it was my first race, I think it was okay, I think. And hopefully in 2 weeks' time, I'll be able to, probably get a better position because I'm at work next week. So I don't think I'll be able to join in the race.
Well, yeah, you had a bit of an unlucky race, you would say, but
yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless.
I did.
It's a great little car to throw around this track.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that was an impressive first performance. Well done to you.
Thank you.
I have a question. If you talk a little bit about it, it's your first race, so it's a little bit exciting. You spent much of those races in the pack. Talk about going into that hairpin hard on the brakes with a car that's a little bit squirrely and unsettled with all of those cars around you. Does that get your heart beating?
A little bit, but the thing is that mainly I just need to trust in the car, just trusting that it brakes hard. And obviously, throughout the few incidents, the car I didn't brake in time. I think throughout the first race, I got a bit of engine damage because I just wanted to make sure that I slowed down enough at the corner. So it does get my heart a bit racing throughout the pack because all I just want to do is just stop. I don't really want to go into different drivers and stuff, but unfortunately, that did. That did happen a few times, but it's just mainly keeping calm, really. Just trusting your brakes, trusting your setup, really, and just hopefully come out clean, really.
Well, thank you for coming and having a chat to us. We really appreciate it, Mr.
Yeah, no
Fetch.
problem.
And yeah, we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks' time for whatever round that happens to be. Yeah, round 38 it will be.
Wow.
With only 7 rounds left in the championship at that point. So yeah,
Yeah,
still plenty of races to come before the end of the
definitely.
season. We're also joined by the race winner Scattle. Hello, Scattle.
Hello.
You had quite an entertaining second race there.
Yeah, it was fun at the second race, but in the first race, I couldn't do better in the qualifying session. I couldn't find my pace, and that's why I end up almost last in the first race.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah, it was fun in the second race.
Yeah, we definitely thought you were going to lose out. Maybe you're going to lose out a place to Mandula in the dying laps there, but you did everything you needed to do just to keep ahead. And yeah, it was good to see you battling with your teammate Ivor for the first part of the race to try and get past. Was it Boz, WCL Boz at the beginning?
Yeah, it was really difficult to pass Ivor. He was so fast in the straight, but he did a mistake, and I passed him, and then I catch Boss. I thought the same in the last lap. I thought that Mandula was going to pass me because I was messing so much in the first sector and the last one.
Well, yeah. You did everything you needed to do in the end, and
yeah.
I think if it had been maybe, I don't know, half a lap more, then I think maybe even Juban might have been all over you and challenging you for the lead, because yeah, Juban was just about to make a move on Mandula as they went over the line. But yeah, congrats! Is that your first win in the championship? I think it is, right?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe
I think
it's the second one.
Is it the second? Okay. We've had a lot of races, so my apologies if you've won before. Yeah, just a great result there for race number 2.
Thanks.
Yeah, it was seriously difficult for some of the drivers to cut their way through. So yeah, well done for that. I think Elmo is also going to come and say a few words. Mo, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. You had a fun second race.
At times, yeah. I don't know what I'd done to the setup, but I'm normally a bit quicker in this car than that. Oh well, a bit slow out the corners, I think was my problem. But yeah, it was a few fun battles. Got caught just behind the draft too many times, just out of it. So.
Yeah, I think you were on for a top 10 in the last lap, but it just didn't work out. How did race
I
one
was
go
messing up the exits of court. Well, I was slow out of corners and then on all the straights after that. So I don't know if that was set up or I'd messed the engine up or me. I don't know, but yeah, it was quite fun.
Yeah, well, thank you for putting together the cameras for this evening's race, and hopefully the viewers enjoyed watching those. Yeah, Elmo is the cameraman at Sim Broadcasts. He provides us with all the onboard camera views, all the track cams for the events, and I'm just the person who clicks the buttons on race days. So thanks for that, Mo, as ever. Thanks to Elmo, to Mr. Fetch, and to Scattle for joining us for some interviews. Travis, have you got any questions for any of the 3 drivers before we wrap up this evening's action?
Yeah, I had a question for Scattle. That basically how.
I think he's muted
What was
himself.
it like? Oh, he has.
Yeah, I think
Well,
so.
I can ask my question while he sorts out his
Oh, there you go. He's
mute.
back. He's back.
Ah, okay, great. Yeah. What is it like? How is it? Driving the last couple of the last couple laps of a race like that. You don't quite have the ultimate pace, but you're consistent. You got it going, and then you got a guy like Jaban and Mandula coming up behind you. Like, do you look ahead? Do you try to forget about the cars behind you? How'd you do it?
Scattle, that was a question for you. I'm not sure if you were. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, my question was, what's it like being at the front of the race like that, leading, when you don't quite have the pace of the cars behind? You're just trying to be consistent. Do you look in your mirrors a lot? Do you try to tune them out? Do you just focus on your race? How did you get it done?
Well, I always in the mid pack because I'm not fast enough to be on the lead. So when I'm trying to lead the race, I just concentrate in my race, not on my. I try to not look into the mirrors because I lost focus and then I lost time.
Yeah, it's a good
So
technique. It's a good technique.
yeah, it's a difficult one, to be honest, because you can see the car behind you, even if you are not looking at a mirror.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah, I suppose Travis, do you want to follow up on that?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to follow up on that? It was your question.
Oh, no. That answered my question. That's that I think that's a good way to do it. I'm not as good at it myself, but maybe that's why I'm starting to do this more and less actually driving the car.
Yeah, Travis won the 2020 Indy 500 on iRacing, so he's lying at you there. He's very good at ignoring things that are going on in his rearview mirror. So yeah, a little bit of a plug there for you, Travis.
There was a lot of Pete was there too. There was a lot of Pete telling me that I should ignore the things in my rearview mirror while I was shouting about the things in the rearview mirror. So we
pretty
were
much.
lucky that day.
Anyway, yeah, thanks guys for the interviews. Great to hear from some drivers for a change. So yeah, if you ever feel like coming and joining in for some post-race interviews again, then please feel free. Liked having you here. To anyone else who's interested in doing interviews and things with us, you can join our TeamSpeak server at ts.simbroadcast.tv. More information about that on our website. So yeah, thanks to you guys for that. So yeah, what have we got coming up in
no
the
problem.
Team Racing Championship in the next couple of weeks? So yeah, next week, round 37, will be coming from Fern Bay, a custom configuration in the RB4. That'll be on Tuesday, the 6th of October from 7 o'clock UTC, same time, same place. Then we've got the LX6 at Westhill National. That's going to be a fun one. Yeah, Travis, do you think you'll be joining us for that one, or have you yeah?
I may. I would like to. We'll see if I can make it happen. It's during the workday here, but I can get away for an hour and a half or so at a time. So we'll see if I can make it happen.
Well, it's been absolutely excellent having you with us. I hope you've enjoyed it. Your first outing as a commentator with us.
I have. Thank
Hope
you.
to have you around for many more. Thanks again to everybody who tunes into our broadcast. We really appreciate it, and we hope you can join us for more in future. I've been Peter Butcher. The other voice in your ears this evening has been Travis Mehlinger. Our race director was Jonathan Palmer, and thanks again to Elmo, Mr. Fetch, and Scattle for the post-race interviews. Have a great evening, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Good night.